Business by Design online. We are so excited to bring you our guest this month because in the month of December, we're focused on giving back and service and how, as a business owner, you can incorporate giving back into your business. So my guest today, oh my gosh, amazing woman who has helped me personally as well. And I just love her face. So here we go. I want to introduce you to my friend, Paula Levy. Paula has been in business over 30 years working with seniors and their caregivers. So I want you to meet my friend, Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on with us today because I love what you do. I love how you not only help people in your care, but in the people that care for them. And I happen to be a caregiver, and that's a new position for me. So, what would you say right off the bat, before we even get to know you, what would be the biggest tip you could give to caregivers right now, considering the pandemic and the restrictions and how we can help those we love and ourselves?
Well, first off, I'd love to start with this quote from Rosalind Carter, who says, there are only four kinds of people in the world. There are those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. And everybody we know will fall into one of those categories or more than one of those categories. So I just love that quote, and it just encompasses all of us, whether wherever you are, when whatever walk of life you're in, right? You'll hit one of those stages. So back to your question, the pandemic, caregiving, whether it's for a parent or for your child, or like you've got all of the above in your home right now, and the holidays on top of everything else. So I think you touched on it in my intro, in the written intro. You've got to take care of yourself first. If the stewardess, the flight attendants aren't kidding when they say put your oxygen on, the oxygen mask on first, and then help those around you. A caregiver is one of the toughest jobs in the world, and watching your loved one struggle, whether early on or later stages, or with whatever disease or illness they might have going on, the caregiver is the one that really has to focus inward first, because as they go on, if their health struggles, if they stumble, if something happens to them, what happens to their loved one? So really, to really know that it's not selfish to take care of yourself first, to really put your needs first. Like you said, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and in my time doing this, I've seen multiple caregivers die taking care of their loved one because they haven't stopped to take care of themselves first. And so it's hard to think of that as not being selfish,
Yeah.
and especially with everything else going on around us these days, it's so important to take time, to take 5, to take 10, to take a half-hour nap, so that you can come back and be a better caregiver to your person.
You're right. It really is. I mean, we've only been doing this a couple months and already just feeling like, where am I? Where do I fit? And you don't want to feel guilty because you're like, they don't have an option. And I want to make it as great as possible for that person. But where do we fit back in? Where do we have the time for ourselves? So that guilt thing is real. That is a tough one, but I loved what you told me that early on, and I've really tried to make that a priority without feeling guilt, and it's tough. It's a tough one for sure. Yeah.
And that's one reason why I started my nonprofit, my business, after working in long-term care, in a private sector, and moving to Woodland Park and working in a volunteer basis with a caregiver support group, just watching how caregivers struggled just to get away for an hour to come for support,
Yeah.
because they couldn't leave their loved one. They couldn't even get away to the group for an hour. I developed this adult day program.
Tell us about this, because it's amazing what you offer. And I know there's not a lot of places like this around. Can you tell us more about your business?
Sure, and that's so my program grew out of the support groups that I facilitate, and just in our community alone, there was nowhere where a caregiver could go or take their person just to get a break. You know, it was either have someone come into your home, and then you had to leave your home, and so you never had time to yourself in your home because your person was always there or somebody else was there. So I found this little house, so it feels like home, and we call it DayBreak, which is very apropos because that's exactly what it is. It's a break in the day for the caregiver, and it's actually a day out for their loved one. So it's a respite care program, and really if you look up the purpose of adult day programs, it's to prevent a premature nursing home placement. So the 4-day programs came on the scene. People would have a loved one at home and just say, I can't do this anymore. You're going to go into a nursing home. Instead of saying, you know what, there's an adult day program where you can have a day out, I can get a break, and then we can come back together and we can make this work, and you can be at home for longer, and you won't have to go into a nursing home because I can get a break, and you can get some community connection and outside interaction, and we won't have to place you before your time, because when that happens, people progress faster in their disease process. So created DayBreak about five and a half years ago when I found this little house and made it into a very home-like setting. We offer a full calendar of activities. We're Monday through Friday. Our hours are extended 8 to 6 now. We can pick the person up from their home and bring them to the program. We can give a bath or shower to take that off the caregiver plate.
Wow.
We have lunch. We have a full array of activities. We have games and puzzles and musicians that come in. We have dogs almost every day, a dog a day. We have
Dogs are life-saving. I can see, and we have 3 in our house, so I know how important that is in that just comfort and calmness and snuggle.
And it's for everyone. We have one lady that doesn't care for them, but of course they are totally attracted to her. So it's kind of a,
They always know.
We set all the walkers around her to kind of guard the dogs away from her. But we interact with the community because we have our vehicle. We're in this. We go swimming. We take them to the community swimming pool. We take them swimming. We go to Cripple Creek to the now canceled ice festival. We go to the movies. We're in the schools. We do tons of intergenerational activities.
Oh, I love that.
School district. So just making connections that they normally wouldn't have because they're home with their caregiver one-on-one. So we help them create community. We also have a volunteer hairdresser that comes in twice a month and does their hair for them. We have a foot care nurse that comes in every other month just to do their toenails. That's a huge service and a huge need. What we tried to really do is make it a one-stop shop for the family caregiver so that they could drop their person here with us, go take care of themselves while we take care of a lot of their loved ones' needs. We have one family caregiver that actually goes home and sleeps for 4 hours while their loved one's with us because like you will know, you sleep with one eye open because you don't know if they're getting up, if they could fall, if their nights and days are confused. So again, your rest is just as important as theirs. So our hope is to wear them out with us during the day so that it's good for you at night, and that you, while they're with us, that the caregivers are getting recharged and refreshed, and just reconnecting with people that they haven't been able to connect with because of the caregiving journey takes
That is so awesome. I cannot wait to have your facility open again, because that, even the, I mean, shoot, you're what, 45-minute drive from my house, something like that. That sounds like such a wonderful thing, to not only for the caregiver, but for the person. Holy cow, way more fun than just hanging around the house while I'm working. So yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and we've crossed 3 counties. We just don't serve Teller County because we are located in Woodland Park. We have had people drive just that distance, like you're talking. We've had people come up from the Village 7 area, Fort Carson. We've had someone come in from Park County to use our services. So we have crossed 3 counties with our program services, and it's unique. It's a unique program. We're currently looking for a larger space because of this little house we've outgrown, and we actually had a capital campaign. We were on track for a bigger building, and we fell short, so we stopped and regrouped, and now we're going to try to get back on track and see if we can't be in a bigger building by mid-year, hopefully. So
Good. So you are not available to help people right now, but you're kind of putting the plan together, but you're doing a lot of other things right now.
we are.
Can you share with us some of what you are offering for people right now?
Sure. You know, the early in the year when we first closed, we just kind of were like stunned. So we did a few things, not a lot. We did a few drive-by birthday parties for our folks. We had little caravans. We decorated the van, and we delivered cake and that type of thing. This time, the second closure, we got more creative. So now we're doing Zoom activities into their homes. Their families are setting up the iPads and the computers and getting their loved one in front of it. We've got a couple great volunteers coming in to perform music for them via Zoom. We've got a banjo player on Fridays. We have a piano player coming this afternoon. We have my own team members that are doing music bingo and Christmas sing-alongs with the ukulele, and we're just trying to do some really fun things to keep them from feeling so isolated. And they don't quite understand the Zoom. It's not quite the same. We tried bad Christmas jokes, and I was laughing harder than any of them. They actually thought they were real questions, like, what kind of candy does a Christmas tree like? And she was like, and I'm like, no, it's going to be a joke. She was thinking like, does our candy?
Oh.
So, but we're just trying to bring smiles and laughter and levity to their loneliness, because usually December is our just a month to shine with activities and happiness and joy, and it's frustrating not to be able to be open and
Right. I love what you're doing. Before we talk about, I want people to know how they can help support the organization that you have and what you're doing. But do you have some tips for those of us who are ways that we can work with those we love in a time where they are isolated? And I feel personally very fortunate that we were able to move my mom-in-law from the assisted living facility, which does an amazing job under normal circumstances. But because of COVID, they couldn't eat together. We couldn't see her, except out on the porch. Now it's cold, so that's kind of out. They couldn't really be together as a community, even within the facility. So we felt it was in her best interest to bring her home with us. But I know when I talked with you, you shared some tips on dealing with someone, for example, with dementia or dealing with different situations. Can you share a couple tips with us on things that because you are brilliant and the training that you have had, the education that you have, people need to know because it's not what you think sometimes.
Sure. And I think the most important thing to remember is that your loved one is not going to change. They're not going to listen to your counter of, you can't do that because that's not going to resonate with them. They are where they are, period. And so knowing that and understanding that and letting your family members know that and accept that, knowing that you are the ones that are going to have to flex to be where she's at. It's huge. It's easy for me. I've been doing it for 30 years. I think we laughed about that when we met. I've got the biggest bag of improv stuff. I can just be with them wherever, and just go with it. But it's not as easy when you're ready, when the person you're working with has had all her faculties and now doesn't. And so now it's hard to think, you just asked me that question. Why are you asking me it again? Instead of answering the question again or saying, that's a great question, but let's move over to this side, instead, I've got a fabulous handout about what to say when they say this, what not, it's like what not to say, like don't debate, distract,
Right.
don't argue, agree. Like, you are so right on that. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, because trying to argue or trying to reason is going to just make you frustrated and you're just going to lose the situation. So
Yeah.
you learn to just go with where they're at and you learn to let go of a lot of things.
It is. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah,
Sorry.
holiday wise, that's hard too because traditions are so important to so many people, and traditions that a lot of the times your loved one started. These traditions that were so important to her or him, and you want to maintain those just for them, but you quickly realize that those aren't going to matter. Those don't matter as much. They aren't going to matter to them, but they matter to you. You have to weigh that, or you have to learn how to compromise or scale down those traditions because the you can, as elaborate as they might have been, they can't process all of that. The big crowds of huge family gatherings.
Yeah.
No, the music, the huge meal, what the buffet line, they can't handle that. Let's have the plate made for her and have her just be seated. Don't expect them to make choices. Don't expect them to go through a buffet line, and not be flustered. Just realize that their world is shrinking literally because I could go on forever, but their vision range is shrinking, and so literally their world is getting smaller. So the more vast things are in front of them, it just is overwhelming to them.
You mentioned that to me when we met, a month ago about the vision thing, and we've noticed it already. And you don't think about things like that, but we've noticed, different ways. You talked about a way to come in and approach someone. You talked about how they just don't see what's out here. It's very clear. We've tried, those are things that we're trying to incorporate into what we do and make things less chaotic, which is hard when you have a multi-generational home, and 3 dogs and a cat. But there's times when, like most during the day, it's a little more calm, a little more quiet, usually in the evening around dinner, everyone's up and making dinner dishes and talking, and you can tell there's a time when it's like, okay, you know, she has to be able to have a place that she can just go and chill a little bit too. So we're making adjustments, but it's definitely, I appreciate the things that you've mentioned. You talked about how you can hold someone's hand, how you can approach them, things like that, that we're trying to incorporate. And I know we mentioned that in the description here of this video, some tools and places to gather more information. If somebody has questions and wants to learn more, where can they, what do you suggest?
So those techniques that you were talking about are straight from the certification that I received from Tipa Snow and her positive approach to care. And I can share that with you, or you can just go to tepasnow.com, and it's TEEPA Snow SNOW.com. And her positive approach to care is just a remarkable resource. She's got YouTube videos. She's got tons of resources online. She has a Facebook page where she comes on every morning. I'm talking 7 days a week. She's on our time at 6 a.m. But she's on, and you can watch it at later, even in the day. But she is just amazing resource, and that's who I have a couple certifications through. You can reach out to me. I'm happy to be a resource. It's just my passion. I love helping people. And my email is Paula at DayBreak, ADP.com. And you're best to reach me on my cell phone, because I'm not in the office quite as much as I used to be.
Okay, hang on one second. It was Paula at DayBreak.
ADP.
DP.
Adult Day Program.
.com. Okay.
And my cell is 719.
You sure you want that out there?
Sure.
Okay.
331 3640.
So are you doing I'm sure there are support groups and things like that. Do you run something still yourself, or are you pretty much in with your facility?
No, I do two support groups.
Okay.
Support groups, and right now they're Zoom. And I think we might just even when we can go back in person, I think I might still keep it hybrid, because several of my group members are relocating to be closer to family that can help them better care for their loved ones. So I'm planning to keep them Zoom also. But yes, I am.
That's great.
Yeah, I do one the first Tuesday of the month via Zoom, and that one is strictly dementia caregivers, and that one is through the Alzheimer's Association, and that one I've been doing for 20 plus years.
Wow.
The second one I do is the second Thursday of the month at 3:30, and that one is open to any kind of caregiver. We have a grandmother caregiving that has basically raised one of her or several of her grandkids, and a stroke caregiver, and just an autistic, a mother caregiving for her autistic son. So just a variety of different caregiving scenarios. But the one on Tuesday is strictly dementia.
Okay, so already I spelled wrong. That's really good that I can't even spell. But so it's the first Tuesday of the month, yes?
First Tuesday at 4:30, and the second Thursday at 3:30.
First Tuesday, 4:30, MST. Okay. Because I want to get in on that one. And I think that would be very helpful, because I've learned so much from you. All right. So this month it's about giving and supporting in our own communities. And as you started out talking about your quote from Rosalind Carter, is that who that was? Yes, that you said that. Yes. I mean, so true. we don't want to think that we're going to need care, right? You're going through life, you're living life, you feel strong, healthy, and you don't want to think it's going to be you, but it probably will be. One of the things we talk about is we're modeling for our children. Don't forget about us. But how can we support you and your organization? You're here in Colorado, but you have such great information for people that wouldn't even have to live here if they want to join your support group, for example. How can we support your organization?
Oh, wow. We have many ways you can support us. You can go onto our website, and I think Jen Draper just shared our
Your
website,
Facebook?
our Facebook page. But you can also, it's the same. It's the same as our website. It's just daybreakadp.com is our website. Um, there's ways you can. We get donation in-kind donations, all sorts of magazines. Right now, we're doing a free community gift wrap. So you can drop off your holiday presents, and we'll wrap them for free for donation to our program. Uh, we are part of the Indie Give, which is a year-end philanthropic program for nonprofits, and it's one of our bigger fundraisers. And you can go onto their website, indiegive.com, and donate to DayBreak through that, or you can donate to DayBreak through our website, just on our donation page. You can donate by volunteering your time. We have a range of volunteers from age 2. Our banjo player is 83 years old, and he has played the banjo for us since the day we opened every Friday. And he is never stumped on a song that they request, and he is amazing, just amazing. So, yeah, we have just a wide range of volunteers. There's just so many ways to. We have an office volunteer that helps just with filing. We have a handyman volunteer that just helps us with things around the building that we need done. We get lots of support from foundations and individual donations. Just amazing. We're very, very blessed to be such a small nonprofit and fairly new to the scene, and be supported in so many ways.
Well, you mentioned earlier that you're looking for a bigger facility still. So how many people do you typically, before the shutdown, how many people would you say you would accommodate in a month?
In a month. So
Or
our current building is 1,000 square foot. Period. It's a little house. It's just a cozy little house. And so square footage wise, the state determines our numbers, because you can only have so many people per square foot. And so with 1,000 square feet in our little house, we can serve 5 people at a time. Before we closed, we were seeing between 6 and 8 people a day, because we had people coming in the morning, leaving at lunch, and people picking up their spot and staying the rest of the day. We were full. We had a waiting list. We were busting at the seams. If we had an outing that took us out of the building because we weren't in the building, we could take more people, because our little van held more than 5. So we would do you want to come? We'll pick you up, we can take you, because we know how much people need the break.
Yeah.
In this new building, it's going to be 3 times the size of this building if the one that we have our eye on pans out. And even if COVID restrictions continue on, we'll be able to help more than we could on a good day here. So plus we have been blessed with a new vehicle from CDOT. And so that will allow us to even pick up more people along the way. So
that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I can't believe your building is that small for all you do.
Yes.
All right, so we need to if you feel inclined to support this organization, I know you have touched me and we're just starting. So thank you so much for just helping us understand a little of what you offer in a community here in Colorado. I'm sure there are places around the world, but I'm looking forward to getting in on the support group because I can feel it already, just needing that like little bit of alignment again. So I hope that our community will feel the need to help support you, because we will need that care at some point. You will be a caregiver. You will be needing care in the future or now or later or yeah, so it's coming. Will you share that quote one more time with us? Because I got it wrong. I know I got it confused.
So I always have to read it too. She said it first. Rosalind Carter said it first, and she said it best when she said, "There are only four kinds of people in this world: those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers."
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. I really love what you're doing. And I know you're making an impact in the community because people everywhere I network, they know you because you are out in the community, you share, you are a light, you are sunshine for everyone. So thank you, Paula. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fabulous holiday with your sons and that you get some time to be together. And thanks for all you do. You may see us on Zoom soon because, you know, that would be fun. My husband needs some practice on his banjo. Maybe he can team up and help.
Awesome. Awesome.
And my 2-year-old, my granddaughter, knows how to play the harmonica, sort of.
Awesome. That would be fantastic. We would love that.
Thank you. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.